like to start this beautiful morning off with a very heartfelt, not angry at all video. I was watching CBS News, NBC News, we'll find out, Lester Holt, just kind of see what was going on, and they come up to the topic of the coronavirus. Like always, I'm not surprised by that, but they're fear mongering us for no fucking reason. And they're scaring people to get them to watch and just to have an overall perpetual anxiety. People are dying. I know more people that have died, and I'm sure everybody around this nation is knowing more people that have passed away. So it's becoming a scarier and scarier thing. Recently, I had to make the decision not to send my mother to the emergency room, although she didn't have life-threatening illnesses, but she could have used some treatment there. But I don't want her to get sick. For a shoulder injury, she's not going to go get COVID. So it's a real deal. And to act like this last year has been nothing is fucking bullshit, and it's inappropriate. So let's see what they're
to
saying.
track down dangerous and potentially deadlier variants of the virus. With the UK strain already detected in a majority of states, researchers fear if the South African and Brazilian variants are
them before they become a problem.
After just emerging from the deadliest month of the pandemic, authorities say the variants could fuel a new surge in cases as early as March. While fewer Americans are testing positive for the virus, testing sites are becoming harder to find. And if there's less testing, new variants may be more prevalent.
I'm going to stop it there. So they're saying that in March, although new COVID cases are down, but they're attributing that to less cases being looked at, which is true, but that we're going to run rampant with this new variants that may not even be covered by our vaccine, which is total BS. What we learned from the first variant that came out of South Africa was a variant that we've been seeing for a while here in September. And the good thing about this, what this, I want to draw for you. So, what these variants, so, when we make an virus, the coronavirus, enveloped virus, cell membrane. Inside there is an icosahedral capsid. All the proteins are. This like kind of shells the virus, and inside the capsid, where the DNA is or RNA. Now, then on the outside of the virus will make protein bed cell membrane. This is what makes virus infection. These are the spike proteins. Now, what we did is we took one spike protein, corona SARS. It's all cut up different. That makes pretty color. The first time it came out there. Maybe a little. I'm using colors to demonstrate genetic variability. So here's the spike protein. It is what binds to the angiotensin converting enzyme 2 receptor. Please do. And spike. We're like, we need to find vaccine. What we did, got the genetic code. These scientists were smart AF, and they sequenced it. They said, okay, this is the DNA code that we need to make this. So what we did was, okay, we need here. You'll need to know the DNA bits that make green, and we need to know the bits that make red. That little blue section there, and that blue section. So we made an mRNA template that when it's put in our body, it's going to make this right here. This is the code for it. This is what it's going to make. It's going to make the exact same thing. Pretty genius. So, pretty excited. The thing with the variant, now, the variant, same spike protein, and let's say the colors get a little wet. That are red, that are green. I forgot what the magenta and say this is the same one I just drew. But this spike protein, it mutated to the UK variant. When it did so, it had the same pretty much look to it, but it had some zazz sequence to the dress. Put a nice headband on. We're like, oh fuck no, variant, no. You know what happened? This UK variant binds stronger to this variant than it did the original COVID vaccine. And the cases out of South Africa are showing up same. So when these guys are spewing bullshit for national television, creating a scare tactic, don't believe it. Okay? Here's how COVID gets in your body. Here's Sally. Here's Jim. They have their mouths open. And they're just talking, no mask. Now, here's COVID-1, COVID UK, here's COVID South Africa. And they're just kind of hanging out. There is nothing between these two variants, three variants, that make them any more dangerous in this position at all. UK variant is not stronger than the original variant, not stronger than South African. What makes them stronger is when he eats UK variant, because he's not wearing good masks, personal protective and washing, then the UK variant can get inside his cells easier and infect him. And he'll get a higher viral load, maybe have higher viral shedding. Same with the South African ones, same with the normal ones. But they have to be inside you to be stronger. They don't jump off the table that we have here, little bacteria. Like those variants aren't making those big leaps evolutionary. They're just changing the protein. That meaning when that protein runs across that receptor, it's going to bind a lot harder. But when it binds, it's mutated in a way where it's a lot stickier to a lot of things, including our vaccine. If you're doing what you're doing by being clean, wearing your mask, not being around people, and keeping that shit out of your mouth, you don't have to worry about any variant. And the vaccine will have you covered. So stop watching the news when you have somebody that clearly has no scientific background telling you that life's going to suck. Tell them to fuck off. Like, it is so frustrating that we make so much progress. This vaccine is beautiful in the way it's literally simply a tube filled with little nanoparticle lipids to hold the DNA, RNA in, and then buffers of salt and just sodium chloride, and we inject that in. It's so clean. Your body receives that little message and automatically makes that spike protein, and then it goes, I don't know what this is. Let's do an immune response. That's how the body's supposed to work. It's very clean. Unless you have a reaction to lipids, the nanoparticles, there shouldn't be any problems. I don't see people having reactions to sodium chloride because that's what your body is full of. And cholesterol, you're not allergic to cholesterol because you couldn't live without cholesterol. So just take everything with a grain of salt, or a shaker at least. If you're on salt restriction, just throw it around. Yeah. Be mindful of what you're watching on TV. It makes me angry that the information is very easily acceptable or accessible. And for me to read it and like, oh, okay, it's not that bad. And then put a small little video out because I want my friends and family to know. And then I see these fucks just, for what? Lack of material? Just throwing all that shit away that I have to refute their bullshit? someone that's famous on TV, and little old me has to refute their bullshit with an angry cursing like this, it's frustrating. And everybody's already polarized it is. This vaccine's gonna kill me. This vaccine's gonna die. No, shut up. God. This virus is killing people. This vaccine is not gonna kill people. And if you're wanting some easy money, fill out a report. Maybe you'll get lucky and get some cash. But I will personally be your doctor for the rest of your life if you get sick from this vaccine. Like, seriously. There's nothing in it. I mean, we can go over what's in it. Literally. I pulled it up because I figured you guys might want to talk about it. So, COVID ingredients. Let me throw some images on this board. Desktop. Okay. All right, so here's our COVID ingredients. Nucleoside modified messenger RNA. All that is if we go back to the paint notes, that is just the recipe for our spike protein. So, nucleoside modified RNA, recipe protein, ACG whatever, with polyal. It's hidden in next. You can look Sigma Aldrich. See where you can get. You can buy some yourself. Great project. So the next one is 4-hydroxybutyl azindyl bis hexane 6,1-disdiol bis 2-hexane coandate. So that's a very big lipid. It's a structural lipid polymer in a nanoparticle. So we need something to hold that messenger RNA. We can't expose it to just water because I told you that recipe wants to be read right away, but it also wants to be eaten right away. So we need to protect it. So these next three things are just protections. We got these 3 nanoparticles here, and then we have cholesterol working as a transport system for that mRNA. So when we inject it, it gets in, it's like a surfactant. So it's oily on the outside and watery on the inside. So it can wrap itself around, be with the watery center, and then float through and diffuse through cells with the oil part. It's really cool. We have potassium chloride for a buffer, monobasic potassium phosphate buffer, sodium chloride again, dibasic sodium phosphate dihydrate, and sugar. So there's nothing really that you're allergic to unless you've been allergic to these ingredients before. I doubt you're going to be allergic to messenger RNA because you have billions and billions of it in your body all the time. Possibly you could be allergic to one of these formulations of the nanoparticles, and that's okay. So if you do have an anaphylactic reaction, know not to take it. But cholesterol, you're not going to have a reaction to. Potassium, you're not going to have a reaction to. Sodium hydroxide, those are just basic chemicals every day of your body. So the vaccine, and I keep saying this, I am very impressed the way they did this vaccine. That I believe it's the way vaccines should have always been done. And I think it's the way we'll go in the future. It just seems very, very clean from a vaccine standpoint. God, I'm not good at this. But, yeah. So, why is it, one thing they say is, why is it causing pain? Maybe it's I think it's like 1.5 cc, so I don't think it's that big. Maybe some of the nanoparticles just thick going in your muscle, but if you get the vaccine, just rub that muscle, that deltoid muscle. If you're skinny mini, don't have a lot of fat or muscle right here on this deltoid, get in the thigh, get in the butt. So anywhere there's a big muscle to absorb all that medicine. And be happy, man. Like, I've been watching these videos from India. The doctors are like, doctors will tell you what it's like to have a vaccine. And I read like one paragraph in, I'm like, oh, it's like every vaccine you get. There's nothing new about this one. It's every fucking vaccine's the same. Sometimes I forget I got a vaccine, and the next day I'm like, ow, was I playing video games or something? Oh, I got a shot. Oh, big deal. Do you want to die? No. You want to keep arguing with your friends and being miserable? No. So forget that. Listen to me. And
Just put it out of your mind. If you have questions, I will answer anything. Call me, text me, yell at me, smoke signal me, because I'm sick and tired of all this misinformation going out when the answers are so readily available and so easy. And all this disinformation just creates hate. And we don't need hate, we need love, because love makes everything better, literally. And hate sucks. So, good morning. Hope you guys enjoyed that. And